being recorded, so don't say anything nasty. Oh, wait.
Okay, thank. All right, so this is on, what road is this? Island Acre. I don't know if I know where Island Acre is. All right, we're gonna open the meeting at 6 o'clock. We do have a, here, let's do these little pieces of business first, and we'll see if Eversource joins us by then. I would make a motion to examine, to approve the meeting minutes of September 27th and October 4th as written. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, I'm gonna hand them to you to sign first, and then we'll pass them back. Okay. All right. Do we have any audience participation, public comments before we move on? Okay, so I'm not seeing anyone from Eversource. I know it's exactly 6.
About October 4th.
We did both together, I think. Yeah,
Yeah, we
October
did.
4th and the 27th. So why don't we move ahead then to the local rapid recovery plan final report. Ira, do you want to come on up and join us?
Sure, which.
Can I have a
where do you want me
motion?
to be? Over there?
Anywhere? Yeah. that was- Oh, I got someone just entering, of course, right now.
Do you want to make a motion for that, Carol?
Have a seat, Ira. Do we want to get Eversource? Eversource, is this, I just saw someone enter via phone. Are you a rep from Eversource?
Yes, this is Austin representing Eversource.
Hi, Austin. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. Okay, so let's do, sorry, Ira, we're gonna go back and do the full hearing real quick, but I don't think it should take long. All right, Austin, welcome. So I have a map in front of me for, poll to indicate it. It says, June on Island Acres Road. I'm just trying to look for the waypoint. So it's 2 poles that are going up, or is it the 3?
Correct. Yes. It's going to be 2 poles, and then there's going to be 1 pole that's getting replaced on that street.
So 2 poles going up and 1 getting replaced.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Private road.
So one of our selectmen has a question for you about it being a private road.
Okay.
Does that make a difference with Eversource poles as far as?
I don't think we have to give them permission to put poles on a private road.
We have to get in contact with the association, most likely.
Right, there must be an association that shares the cost of that road.
So Austin, the question is whether it's in our jurisdiction to grant the approval, or because it's a private road, if it would be their association that needs to grant it.
Okay. Let me, I
Private-
can double check on that.
Okay. Have you had any experience dealing with like a private road situation? Oh, sorry, Doris, I didn't even see you. Go ahead.
That's okay, no, but the town clerk does have to record the polls. So private or
Okay,
public, I still have to.
you would still have to be
record it.
part of that meeting to
Yes.
record it. Okay. So Austin, even if it becomes a meeting with the association, you would just have to make sure that the town clerk was there to approve and record.
Okay.
Okay. Do you want to
Okay.
reach out and see if you can find that information and then get back to us and we can reschedule if it does need to go through us?
Cost money every time. we do
Yeah,
it.
I can do that.
Okay, does that make sense? Is that, yes? Okay. All right, sorry about that, Austin.
Have to redo the documents anyway, because it's a public way.
Okay.
So,
Sorry about that, Austin. Do you have any questions for us?
If I can get an answer now, can I just hop back on and we'll discuss it at the end of the meeting?
That's, yeah, we're certainly open to discussing it further. We may have to make a change on the paper just because this is a public way.
Okay.
But yeah, see what you can find out and then feel free to hop back on.
Thanks.
I have a question.
Oh, sorry, hold on, one question for the town clerk, go ahead.
This says public, how can you sign off of it if it's actually private? And then I can't report it tonight.
Yeah, so he's gonna, that's what he's gonna do, that's a good point, so he's gonna do some research, and then he's gonna get back to us, let us know what he finds out. And then we can maybe reschedule,
Okay.
or whatever we have to do. Thank you, Austin.
Thank you.
All right, bye. All right, so next up, we have our meeting with Ira. I'm just trying to pull up some documents, Ira, but they're not gonna be handy. Do you want to join Zoom to pull up the final, or do you want me to?
I can do that.
Wait, I might have it pretty easy, actually. Here we go.
I'll just have to give this.
I see. Hold on. Do you just need the final draft PDF?
Mhm.
Okay, then I think I have it, if it downloads.
And, perhaps that two-pager, the grant that we applied for.
All right, let me see if I can find that. This is being a little slow. All right, here we go. I'm gonna project, I'm gonna share this for everyone. What's happening here?
What's your situation with masks?
Yeah, I think that's what,
Okay.
on the front door, I don't remember
Oh,
what it says on there.
sorry.
That's okay.
The CDC recommends mask be worn in public buildings.
Gotcha.
All right, so I'm trying to share this. I apologize for the wait.
It's a recommendation.
I'll keep my glasses from fogging.
Oh, I know, that's the
Terrible
worst
with that.
part. Right, that's not what I want.
I don't. You need.
I know how to read this.
Sure.
I can give you.
Sorry, this is taking forever to download. I think it's just a big document. Yeah, okay, stop that. Open that one. All right, now we're gonna share.
Just my name.
And who you're with.
Okay.
So Eric's also here.
He's on Zoom.
There we go.
And I'm with
Hi, Eric,
PVPC.
welcome. We're just trying to make sure we have everything pulled up that we needed. So I've got the rapid recovery plan up here for you. I don't know if you want to turn your seat so you don't have
Maybe I should go on the other side.
to.
I can see
Whatever
what
is
you're-
easiest for you. And then you said you wanted the grant page, so I'm going to, I don't know if I can freeze and pull it up at the same time.
Well, that's okay.
I'll try to find it on here first. Okay, so I think most people here have been aware of the meetings we've been having for the rapid recovery plan for Blandford. We've gathered some businesses together, as well as our library, some representatives from our library, we reached out to our church in town, the country club, the fairgrounds. And we've been discussing different approaches that we want to do with some of the money coming in from it's the rapid recovery downtown, our downtown. And I think we've come up with some really good ideas. And so Ira's going to propose to you what we've been working on. And then we approve this? Is that what's happening tonight? And
Well, it's the plan, so
Okay.
you could, whatever process you want, to use, if you want to do an official approval, that would
Okay.
be great, but I think what may be best would be for me to keep my presentation very short
okay,
and then leave time, I don't know how much time you are thinking you want for this particular topic, but, if there are questions or
sure,
discussion, people have suggestions about things,
okay,
go from there. So I'll just, I'll be 5 minutes
perfect.
max in terms of a presentation. So for those that may not be aware of this program, it's the Local Rapid Recovery Planning Program. It was put together about a year ago by the Department of Housing and Community Development, DHCD. And under their umbrella is the Mass Downtown Initiative. So the idea behind it was to take money from CARES, the first wave of tranche of money that came from the federal government to help with recovery and assistance during COVID. Take a look at ways that a community, large or small, and I'm pretty sure Blandford is holds the record for on the small side. So communities were invited to apply for grants, to do some planning, to look at how best to recover, or to help in that recovery. The idea behind it is that this be rapid. In other words, it's not a 10-year master plan or 20 years. It's stuff that can be done quickly. The cliche low-hanging fruit comes to mind. So things that can be done pretty expeditiously, that can have some impact on a pretty quick basis and maybe form a foundation for future growth. Blandford, in my opinion, has done quite a lot in terms of preparing for this, whether by design, and I think it is mostly by design, knowing Josh and having worked with him a little bit, or just by accident. But your master plan, your revisions and updating of your open space and recreation plan, and your walkability study have really done a great job of kind of setting the table for the future. And so now LRRP comes on top of that to kind of help kick things off, hopefully. There were 124 communities that were provided with a grant. The grants were small, medium, large, or extra large. So Blandford got a small grant, it was $30,000. And that money was used to pay people like me, like Eric Weiss, who's the guy that hired me, Eric's up there on the screen. Pioneer Valley Planning Commission is the agency that I'm working with specifically on this project. And as well as what are called subject matter experts. So the state not only hired plan facilitators like Pioneer Valley Planning Commission to help towns put this all together, but they also hired subject matter experts, SMEs in the land of acronyms, to assist us and to assist the communities in coming up with specific ways and specific ideas about projects that could be done, how best to make them work, proof that they've worked in other places. And so integrated all throughout this report that's 94 pages long in total, are a whole variety of under the project plan part of it are a whole variety of best practice examples. So those are coming from the SMEs. They're things that have been done in other communities as large as places like Boston and places that are very small. So as an example, one of the best practice examples that's in the report comes from Bethel, Vermont. It's not a community that's much larger than Blandford. And it has to do with kind of experimenting with walkability. And that's one of the projects that are outlined of the 5 projects that are here. The program started, as I said, about a year ago. So last November or December, Joshua Garcia applied for a grant. The town was awarded the grant, I think in January maybe or February. And the thing kicked off at the end of March. I became involved with it at the beginning of April. And so for the last 6 or 7 months, there have been a variety of visits out to Blandford. There was a diagnostic phase that went for 2 or 3 months. Following that diagnostic phase, we got into the development phase. That's kind of where the RRP committee, and I see several people here that are part of that committee, got involved. They were kind of a sounding board for Eric and I as we thought about what is it that Blandford really wants to do under this program. And then putting the plan, the report together. So the report is, and it's on the website, so anybody can go to the website to look at it. Kara, as you can see, has it up here. It starts off with the diagnostic part of the project, basically, who is Blandford, what is Blandford, what is the town all about? Actually, prior
I'm
to,
sorry, it got stuck. The cursor went all the way to the bottom.
actually, even before that, there's just a few boilerplate pages that just explain how the program was put together. It's a very prescriptive kind of program. It was sort of envisioned as one size fits all. And good luck with that when you're trying to fit Boston and Worcester and Springfield and Blandford all into the same thing. Doesn't exactly work, but we did our best. So following following that brief introduction, there's an executive summary that it's around
I'm
page
just-
10.
I'm on page 12. Did I just go by executive summary?
No, I
Sorry.
don't know, maybe.
This is what happens when you have two, here you go, when you have two people trying to man it. There you go.
Okay, and that's just a one-page summary of what the rest of these pages are all about. Essentially, it says that there's a lot of common interest, there's a lot of energy, and there's quite a bit of synergy amongst various stakeholders in the town of Blandford. So from business people to residents, to nonprofits, to the government sector, recreational sector, people really do work together and have a lot of very similar interests, even though they're, maybe their individual end goals might be slightly different. People really work well together, and there has been a lot of synergy, and there's an opportunity for more to be able to get things done. Talks about the use of SMEs in this process, and then the fact that there were 5 project plans, which is what the state, the Department of Housing and Urban Housing and Community Development prescribed that we were to come up with. So at the bottom of the executive summary page, it's in kind of small print, but the 5 projects are the first one that's recommended, and these all came from the Rapid Recovery Planning Group that met periodically, on average, probably every 3 weeks during the late spring, summer, and into the early fall. So the first one is formation of a Blandford Business and Civic Association. You can think about that as maybe a neighborhood association, just a group of people that come from different parts of the community, have perhaps different, as I said, individual goals, but work together and would be there to advocate for what's best for Blandford in general and specifically for the village center. A business and civic association can be comprised of anybody and everybody that is interested in working to make Blandford a better place. And obviously, there are loads of people that are already doing that. The vision behind creating a BCA would be to kind of bring those different entities together, have kind of one clearinghouse of a place for that work to kind of go through. The second would be the development of a townwide brand. Branding is something that can be extremely very, very basic. It can be something that's done in-house. It can be something that where you bring in a consultant to help to create the Blandford brand. So that can be used not only to kind of bring people in the town together to have a conversation about that, sort of a team building exercise. It can also, it would be used for the longer term in terms of marketing the town, in terms of providing all the rest of the things that are listed as projects here. So the idea is that you start with a BCA that's gonna sort of shepherd a lot of this stuff and work as a partner with town government, provide some more administrative capacity because Blandford's a small town, doesn't have a large municipal budget and can use all the help it can get. And then gradually begin to unfold these different projects. The third project is the development of a townwide signage and wayfinding system. So the idea behind that is when I, as an outsider, somebody who doesn't live here, am driving up Route 23 or on North Street, North Road. And I'm just driving down the street, what does the town of Blandford want me to notice? What is the business community in Blandford? What are the nonprofits? Where do they want me to be directed? And what's the most effective and efficient way to do that? So having a cohesive signage program, wayfinding program that incorporates the established brand so that people are seeing the same colors, the same designs, the same emblems, logos, banners, whatever it happens to be. My attention is going to be attracted to those things, and I'm going to take a right to go on North Street and check out the White Church, the Blandford Fairground, Watson Park, things that may not be apparent to me as somebody that doesn't live here, and I'm on my way to Otis. We want people to stop in Blandford and get out of their car and see what's going on. And then maybe buy a cup of coffee or an ice cream cone or, whatever that happens to be. The fourth project is to develop and beautify an accessible, connected, and walkable village center. You have a beautiful village center. You have lots of open space. All for such a small area, the number of parks that you have within a 1 mile area is really quite a lot. To connect those and to create opportunities for people to get out and walk, and again, to slow down and to see what else there is to do in the town. And then everything we've talked about so far, particularly projects 2, 3, and 4, are all what are considered public realm. So the town kind of shepherd those things and make those things kind of happen with the assistance of everybody that wants to be involved. The fifth project is a private realm project, and that is to develop a facade, signage, and physical improvement program. And so that would be a program specifically to help businesses with a variety of physical improvements. And it's generally called a facade program, but that's kind of a misnomer. It could be anything having to do with the physical part of any kind of a business. It can be a for-profit business, it can be nonprofit business. It can't be government. So a facade program wouldn't be helpful in making renovations to town hall. But it could be helpful in making renovations to another nonprofit in town. It also couldn't generally be used for renovations to a church, at least if that church is used solely as a religious institution. So, but with everything that's been happening with COVID over the last year and a half, all of the money that's been just flooding out of Washington, and who knows, but likely much more to come. The way money has been flowing is starting to be looked at differently. So there are much more in the way of public-private partnerships, opportunities for grants, where the town and or something like a business civic association, if it gets formed, could apply for money for grants to assist businesses in improvements to their property. So I think I want to just stop there. As you continue on past the executive summary page, we get into the details of each of those projects. The first several pages for each of the 5 projects, that's just a map showing what where you live. The next part is all the diagnostic stuff, which you all know about, but it was helpful for us to understand more about Blandford. And then we get into each of the 5 projects with kind of a write-up on that, and then best practice examples of things that could be done to actually implement those projects. Does that seem like a good stopping
Yeah.
point to?
I just wanted to ask, people who are here on the RFP committee, did you have a chance to review the final plan? Do you all have anything that you feel like we left out, or any changes that you would like us to make before we approve it? 94 pages is pretty thorough.
I didn't write them all.
That's a lot of work. I know I was really happy with the outcome, the discussions we had. It felt like we were all kind of on the same page and, ended up sort of steering in the same direction. And I walked away really excited with some of the ideas that we came away with. So this is sort of our overall plan, and then this sort of outlines our next steps for what we wanted to do, which was, of course, you said the first one was starting our business community there. So what you need from us tonight is to go ahead and approve this, correct? You need a review and accept.
Well, I think I don't need, I
Okay,
don't
sorry.
need that. So, technically, at this point, my work is done,
Okay,
technically, but my work's not
so
done.
you don't need any signatures from us or anything? You
No.
just need to go ahead and approve. Okay.
No,
on
but,
our end.
and actually, this presentation was not even part of the prescribed part of what the state wanted. They just wanted to make sure that we got them the plan by October 8th and that it got to you. But,
Perfect,
you know,
okay.
But if I can chime in, this is Eric Weiss. For the board to vote to accept for the case of future funding, because you can say that not only was the report done, but it was accepted by the town on X date as part of whatever narrative there is for that, so.
Thank you.
Perfect, that makes sense. Okay,
Are we there to talk about the resources?
Yes. Yeah.
Do you want to hear that?
what was your question? Sorry.
I'm sorry, talking about the resources that might be available this time to start to implement any of these.
Sure, I guess just what our first for the, I'm sorry, I'm trying to scroll back up and see exactly how you worded it. For the Blandford Business and Civic Association, that would be our first step. And the resources are listed in here.
Right. If you want to, maybe we can just take a minute and go through this plan. I'll show you how, because they're all set up the same way, the same kind of topics, just, the projects are different.
All right, let me find, to which page?
That's
is that
page
project?
27.
I was so close. Okay,
There you go. So form a business and civic association to support the Blandford business community and provide administrative capacity to assist municipal government. And that last part of that, I think, is really key. So there are, if we won't do it now, but if you go back to that matrix on the executive summary page, there are 6 different categories of projects that the state defined. And they're private realm, public realm, which we talked about, administrative capacity, in other words, how do you get stuff done, revenue and sales, which is key for business, culture and arts, cultural economy, how does the cultural community interact with the business community, and then tenant mix, which is kind of property management, getting more businesses, all of that sort of thing. The Business and Civic Association, as you can see up here, if you scroll back up, the categories we identified are all 6 of those. So that particular project crosses over all of those different things. The budget for it doesn't have to take a lot of money to make that happen. There are a variety of grant possibilities, however, not as many as there are for some of the other projects. And if you want to, we can talk about that. Well, we'll wait a minute, but there's a grant that we've already applied for called REDO, Regional Economic Development. Where if that grant comes through, and we're hopeful that we'll know yes, no, very, very soon, maybe in a matter of days, certainly within I would think, a couple of weeks. Would you agree with that, Eric?
Yeah, it's supposed to be a very quick turnaround through the Western Mass EDC to have the award come out, the Western Mass Economic Development Council. So they promised a quick turnaround. I don't, they didn't give a specific date, but it's meant to be a quick turnaround.
But it's something, in my view, that you could start to work on immediately with no funds.
Mhm.
It's just a matter of getting folks together and having those, continuing the conversations that have been happening with the RRP committee.
Okay,
And the fact that you've had an RRP committee where, over the course of 3 or 4 months, you probably had close to 20 people,
yeah,
different people that have attended at least one meeting, and some people that have attended almost every meeting. So, and they've been good meetings. There's been good conversation and discussion. That would be a good place to, keep that committee maybe going, perhaps change its name or not. But
Yeah.
it could be potentially a Business and Civic Association working group, not the actual association, but a group of people that get together, bring in a buddy or two, each person, and before you know it, you've got some, more momentum going to get that working. But there are a variety of other funding sources there. Bless you. The time frame for that, less than 3 years, of course. We're looking at, ideally, that would be the sort of thing that could be formed in the next month
Mhm.
to 2 months, depending on exactly what you wanted the structure to be. If it was to be, if you want to make it a nonprofit and go, that far with it, you can get all of those things started.
Mhm.
So certainly within 3 to 4 months, you could be up and running but still working on things in the meantime. Yes,
Can I mention the current status of LRP money?
yes,
Okay. This is for those present to understand that the money that we got from DHCD to fund the work that was done, there were 2 areas the money came in, one under SMEs because we were an SME as well, and one under the name of the town. DHCD has said to us, we can take the remaining SME money and use it to help the town start the implementation process, which basically means you're not getting rid of IRA yet. And that we have money to continue to pay for some of his time. There is a chance we're going to get access to the remaining monies from under each town that was awarded that we can use somehow to help the towns, but that has not been approved.
Okay,
And it varies from town to town. But if you combine those monies with the redo monies, at least it's money to kickstart some things, to make things start happening. It's not big money. None of it is big money, but it's the kind of money you need to start the planning process and the coordination and those types of things. So it helps with that.
okay. That's great. So we could use it to start maybe, now, as far as turning this group into a nonprofit organization, there will be costs associated with that? Is that?
Or like the document, the MOU that would need to be drafted, or whatever you want to call it, the guidance document for it. We would certainly be able to have the capability to help with that.
Okay, so that might be a first place to start if that's something that the businesses are interested in. So that's good to know. Thank you very much.
yeah, if you were to go that route to create a nonprofit organization as an example,
Mhm.
there'd be an application
Okay,
fee to apply for that. You might incur some small amount of legal expense to, write up bylaws and have a lawyer look at them, or maybe that could be, there's a lawyer in town that would do that as,
Mhm.
pro bono, as in kind
okay,
kind of thing, but, not a lot of money to get that going.
okay.
One other thing I'll mention related to what Eric is talking about is that in the last couple of weeks, the DHCD has started talking about the potential for establishing a funding team. Is that the term they're using, Eric?
Yeah, that's the term they're using.
Okay, funding team. We have no idea what that means. For the last 2 weeks, they've been saying details to follow next week, and this is now the 3rd week of waiting for details to follow. But they're looking at the potential for allowing communities to tee up a couple of projects from this report. So much the way MVP works. If
Okay,
you're familiar with that, so you're an LRRP community, so you're ready to go. And now they're looking at the potential, they haven't guaranteed anything,
oh, that would be great.
of having opportunities for grants to be available to apply for LRRP communities specifically.
That's exciting. Fingers crossed.
Yep. Yep. So key performance indicators for this particular project. So several members of the RRP committee continue to participate. There's consistent increase in membership. The BCA is successful with execution and implementation of 1 or 2 projects prior to June 30th of 2022. So that's not a long ways away.
Mhm.
You know, we're looking at about 8 months. And so, you know, the BCA, as I was saying, the same time that you're forming yourself, deciding, you know, what your legal status going to be and all of that sort of thing, you can start working on projects and actually start to do stuff.
Mhm.
And then that the BCA is established and continues to engage with municipal government to implement additional recommendations contained in the report and in the master plan and in your open space and recreation plan. And then there's a suggestion about partners that you could rely on. There's a diagnostic piece in here. There are action items, there's the process, and then there's best practice. And under best practice, there's a couple of links there. Let's see, can you scroll a little bit further?
Best practice or below
Yeah,
that?
below that. Okay, so okay. If you can click on that, thinkhopkins.com, that's a community, larger community than Blandford, but not a metropolis out in the Midwest that's had a business and civic association going for several years. They have a phenomenal website, talks about how they got started, the kind of stuff that they do.
Okay,
And so there's a lot to look at there. So as you get started, you know, that's just one idea, one example of stuff that you could be doing. So that's one project, and the rest of them are laid out kind of the same way.
okay. I think that there's a lot of motivation right now to continue rolling with the groups that we've had, so I think, would you all be interested in, you know, scheduling a meeting coming up maybe for next month, and then you can all start talking about, I'd like to invite, I realized someone brought it up, we didn't invite the 2 new marijuana companies in town to the group. So we have 2 other companies that we should add to our list, and then invite some of the folks that didn't attend the first round that might want to participate. So we can talk about scheduling that maybe sometime in November.
Ask a question. Is
Sure.
Blandford part of the Jacob's Ladder Business Association?
So Russ, who is the owner of the animal hospital down the road in Blandford, is a part of that. So that leads me to believe that Blandford can be. I think it's just on a business to
I'm
business.
just wondering if they have a business model that could be replicated, you know, the
Yeah.
legal and the bylaws or whatever that. is.
Absolutely. I think that he's been a part of that for quite a while, and he had a lot of experience to bring in from that.
So he participated in.
Yes.
Okay.
So the JLBA, Blandford is covered under their bylaws and the way they do their thing. The JLBA does cover Blandford. And in this project plan, they're listed as a potential partner.
Okay,
So it's definitely an entity that should be reached out to, and with Russ being on the RRP committee, that's
so
happening
we
to some
could
degree.
create our own committee and then sort of join as a one entity, the Jacob's Ladder. Does that make sense? That would be something that would, okay.
Potentially, I mean,
Okay.
I think that's a topic for future discussion,
Okay,
whether it makes sense to do it that way. To use the JLBA as sort of an umbrella organization if
Mhm.
they're interested
okay,
for this organization, or to just kind of start off separately and see where things go.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. I don't know, do we want to go through more? Do we want to just leave it there and start with that one? Does that feel like a good place? I think going through all of them might be a bit overwhelming in one night. I know you did a lot of work with it and I appreciate it. Thank you, Eric. Both of you guys.
I did, I printed out some copies of the redo grant.
Okay,
Has the other?
Do you want me to try to-
That yet?
No.
No. So I only made 5 copies. I don't know.
let me see if I can pull it.
So this happened about a month ago. I got 2 more copies.
I have it to project.
Yeah.
Oh, you need one too.
No, I have it on. Who else we got? So this was a grant opportunity that came up a month ago on September 15th. The DHCD, as Eric says, found $5 million in somebody's desk drawer and decided that we had 8 days to submit a grant application. And so we did. And they wanted it to be very simple. They didn't, not pages and pages and pages. So we did a 2-pager. Let me pull it up on my computer here.
I'm not sure if I can make it any larger up there. I think.
All right, it's readable.
Yeah.
Okay,
So we submitted a request for $50,000. This is the one that we hope to hear from any minute. The suggestion was that the money would actually be in hand for those communities that were accepted by early November. So we're getting there.
yep,
The 50,000 would be broken down for $30,000 for brand development. So that's project number 2.
mhm,
$10,000 for the formation of a BCA, and then $10,000 for other stuff, with the idea that potentially there might be maybe some kind of community festival next spring. It's the 200th anniversary of the White Church coming up next spring. The fairgrounds have kind of been more dormant than not for the last year and a half, and
mhm.
this might be an opportunity to do a nice big thing in the springtime to kick off the BCA as a public entity, is something that's new in town and there to enhance what's going on in Blandford. And then we did a little narrative about it, what's going on and why this is a good idea. And then a time frame, which basically says what I just said.
Mhm.
And then what the key performance indicators would be and who the potential partners would be. So this is what we're waiting to hear about. If that were to come through, anything close to that amount of money, I think that would be awesome. for you guys.
Yeah, we'll take it.
Yeah.
Sounds good. That would be great.
We'll get the BCA kit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
started.
Yep.
yeah, that would be exciting.
Yep.
Great.
I guess one other thing that I'll say it's the last thing I'll mention. Josh, in my conversations with him, was really pushing to want to get things done sooner than later and looking at the potential for maybe using some of the ARPA dollars for some of this stuff if it didn't come from somewhere else.
Yes,
And, it's not for me to decide that
Sure.
one way or the other. It's obviously it's for you guys, but I did notice on the website, he's put this plan
yeah, and
on
it's,
the website.
I haven't seen, the select board has not seen any plans come in yet for the ARPA money. Any ideas come in yet from the public?
You sent those forward. They weren't forwarded to you?
I didn't see anything,
Okay.
no.
They're still coming in.
Okay, cool. So we're just starting to review those. So,
It'll be on the next,
Next.
we thought it would be on this week. right?
25th, right?
Yeah. We'll be on the phone.
so we'll keep that in mind, keep this in mind as we're reviewing that. And then, hopefully we'll hear back about this grant and then that'll help us to make our decision. But yeah, I think the ARPA money would be perfect for something like starting off the BCA. Great. Okay, so I would make a motion to accept. Yes, sorry, go ahead.
Okay, just one quick thing to Ira. I got an email today that a number of the events for the White Church are gonna be in the fall around the fair or whatever. How flexible is the 6/30/22 deadline if the events are gonna be, well, at least a couple of them more tailored to the end of the summer?
In reference to this grant application?
Yes.
So as it stands right now, the state has said that everything has to be completed by June 30th.
Okay.
But, so it's kind of TBD. Because I could envision, number one, I kind of thought that we'd get some kind of inkling by now of whether there's an opportunity, since there's such a short deadline for using the money, and that still hasn't come. Two, the definition of using the money doesn't necessarily mean spending all the money. It might just mean encumbering it. But we don't know. So we don't know.
Let me see if I can add a comment to that, which is that it was very clear from all the setup meetings through the Western Mass EDC that they were going to be extremely flexible because the goal was to move the money and get it to support the communities. So there are a couple of things that are going to happen. Every community is going to get something. We don't know how much. And the other one is, as Ira just said, if we're flexible in our definition of how we spend and the money needs to be encumbered or dedicated for something, because it's coming up on July 15th instead of June 25th, then so be it. You make that work.
Thank you.
Eric, just a question.
TJ, how are you?
I am doing well, sir. And yourself?
Good to hear your voice.
Yeah, good to hear yours. Hey, now say like, we're planning something like what was suggested for the White Church has their concerts and that, and everything's set before June 30th. Can that money be held like in the bank and used forward?
That's the definition of the encumbering process, that you add a definition to it so that it's being allocated for a cause.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, just want to be clear. Thank you.
Kara, can I say one thing before you guys vote?
Yes, absolutely.
I just want to applaud Ira. Ira put a lot of work into this. I certainly was in the background, but I did not put near the amount of hours that he put into this, and he deserves a lot of credit for the amount of work he's put into this report.
Yes, thank you. We greatly
Thank you.
appreciate it, Ira.
You're welcome. It's been fun.
Yeah, it has been fun. It's been exciting to talk about these possible things. We'll give you the snap or the sign language class.
When Eric twisted your arm, did you scream?
What's the eye roll emoji?
I know. So I would make a motion to accept the local rapid recovery plan final report.
Seconded.
Any question or any discussion? All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Awesome. Thank you very much. So you'll keep us posted on this grant.
Yep.
And then we'll know from there which way we want to go forward.
Great. And I'll be in touch with Wendy and with you and
Perfect.
People know that you were a businessman and that you understand business, you had your own and.
I did. Yeah,
People knew that about you?
Yeah.
Good.
some do for several decades.
As well as a longtime local official.
Great.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you so much.
You're
I
welcome. Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Thanks for having me here. Thank you.
All right, so
Right.
bye, Eric.
Take care. Good to see you, Wendy.
We have another caller on, but real quick, I forgot. So today is Wendy's first day with us, and so I should have started off by saying, welcome to your first select board meeting. I
It's my
apologize.
third, actually.
Is it your third?
Because I did my homework.
Okay, so I wasn't, you were here on Zoom last time.
Yeah, and then I watched your prior meeting.
Okay. So welcome live and in person.
Thank you.
And so I know I have a few members of the finance board here that wanted to meet you and just see you live in person. So if you want to introduce yourselves, go ahead. So
I'm Kathy Smeltzer, I'm a member of the finance committee.
I'm Debbie Dragon, the newest member of the finance.
And our chair is not here, so there's three of us currently.
So you'll be working closely together. Thanks, Sarah.
Local policy this week. Great.
Okay, so I've got another caller on. Is this the Eversource person back? Is this Austin? No, maybe not. Okay, I'm thinking no. All right, we're gonna keep moving forward then. we have, next up, notification regarding Department of Revenue, FY 21 free cash certification and retained earning calculation. Do you have those numbers first, Wendy, or do you want me to pull up? I think I have something here. All right, hold on, let me get back into my email.
I don't know which ones in particular you want me to talk.
All right, hold on, let me see.
I'm acquainting myself with everything.
Okay,
It's a bit of a world. Josh and I were overlapping last week, some hours. so-
here we go. I got it. Okay, so yes, that's it. Thank you. I've got a digital copy. Oh, you're gonna make me read numbers. This is like my downfall. So we closed our books. This is probably one of the records for us for earliest. I actually sent Andy Montanaro a text and said, Andy, we closed our books. This is in September. And he was very proud and excited for us. And so we have our free cash certification is 516,290. See, it's rough
It's
for
hard
me.
to believe it.
Yeah. Yep. And then the retained earnings. Is the retained, no, the retained earnings isn't the deferred revenue.
Part two, second page.
Oh, okay, I did not see it. There we go, second page. Retained earnings undesignated is the 132,536. Oh, I'm seeing
Yeah,
two. Okay.
139.
130, sorry, 130,998. So our free cash is similar to where we were the last couple years. Is that right? We were about 500,000 Kathy for the free cash last year as well.
Mhm.
Yeah. And we spent some this year. So we ended up sort of getting that. We're still back in that spot. So that's good to know anyways.
What is the number, Kara?
Oh, you're gonna make me read it again.
I
I'm
can
sorry.
show it to you.
Yeah, I have it. I just want to write it in the
Wait,
book.
wait, I have an even better. Hold
I
on.
mean, I don't have it with me. I have it.
Oh, no, it's gonna, wait
It's all right.
for it.
I can find it. Thank you, Mary.
Look, wait, I got it. I shared
All right,
screen.
what is
Make
it?
it sound like a game.
Look, there it is. It's right behind you.
It's work for Peter.
It's very exciting.
Thank you, Mary.
My heart can't take attention.
I know. Well, you should see when we got we had $1 million out of the blue and
I
we hadn't
know.
had free cash in ages and suddenly there was and we didn't trust it and no one would spend it because we were like, is it really there? Okay. So we don't need to make a motion on that, I don't believe.
No.
Next up, we have Peter Curl, that's awesome, to join the Arts Council for a period of 10/18/21 through 6/30/22. So I've got the original here. So I would make a motion to appoint Peter Curl to the Arts Council for the period of 10/18/21 to 6/30/22.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Oh, good, he'll be a good asset to that. That's exciting.
Thank you.
Okay, and so now we've got the contract for repair for Russell Stage Road. Dave, that's you. You're up. There you go. Thank you. Okay, thank you. So we've got, you received 2 bids for this job. One from Palmer Paving, in the amount of 102,739, and one for Eurovia Northeast Paving, the amount of 91,836. What are your thoughts on the bids that we received and going with either company? I'm assuming you're looking at the lower costs.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Now, what's the scope?
talking about the scope of the work, you want to describe that?
Like, how much of a base coat are they putting down and?
Well, it says 3 inches of binder and 2 inches of top.
Okay, that's, oh, okay, so they're digging down like 3.5 inches or so.
5 inches total.
5 inches total.
2 inch
Okay.
top.
So this is about what you expected,
Yeah.
for the bids to come in at,
I was hoping a little bit lower, but everybody,
okay, but nothing's a shock,
no.
okay?
And they're both good paving companies, there's no question about it.
Okay,
I wouldn't hesitate to go with either one of them.
all right, so, you need a motion from us to approve the bid, correct?
Yes.
Could you repeat the bids and the names of the firms, please?
Sure, Palmer Paving, $102,739. You guys are killing me with numbers tonight. And Northeast Paving, which is at $91,836.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
For the, it's a pretty even bid. As you look at it, when you get up to that kind of money, what's $70,000? But I wouldn't hesitate to go with Northeast.
Okay.
You have to take the low bidder if they meet all the requirements.
No, we don't have to. We could pour over this and come up with a reason, but I don't see any reason to do that.
I know the situation I was in once where we didn't accept the low bidder became a messy situation, because then they can come back, is that right? And
Yeah.
request, yeah,
But there is a 1-year warranty.
okay, okay. Do you have any idea of a start date from Northeast?
I know it'll be finished hopefully by the 15th of November, when I talk to the lady
Okay,
at Northeast.
okay,
Well, come in.
whether. It might snow tonight, it's looking like it.
He's already to award.
Okay, so I would make a motion to award the bid for the Russell Stage Road project. IFB 2021-1013-1 to Northeast Paving, in the amount of $91,836. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Shouldn't be contingent on, them getting it done this year. They could just take the bid, there's no time limit.
Yes, there is.
If there's
So
no
in the
bid-
contract-
That's what I was asking,
Yes.
is there a time limit on the bid, because it should be.
Before the
contingent.
fall contract.
Yeah.
Uh,
Contract within the bid document. makes
Yeah.
it-
Okay, I didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a
That's
ginormous-
that's okay.
So we have a contract already been reviewed. So we can go ahead and sign it tonight, and then Dave, you said you're gonna send this back to.
Yes, to, forgot.
Okay. All right, Russell Stage Road, finally. Yay. And then we've got a warrant to take a look at. Thank you. Do I have a warrant? Do you have a warrant? Oh,
Do
you
you
have
want
a
to
warrant.
tell them about that, Wendy?
Signing,
Making a motion to approve the warrants in the future.
as opposed to accept them or.
Oh, yeah,
You really should, rather than, you should make a motion to sign the warrant,
okay,
just that, as part of the meeting, you know. 'Cause
Okay.
Before, yeah, Josh and I talked about it together.
and yeah, we had just been signing them, but that's fine.
And Josh asked, what about when you guys don't meet?
Yep,
And she just said, just do it at the next meeting. So
okay,
I'll make sure it gets on the agenda.
so we
and
can still come in and sign them and then we'll do. the
You sign
motion
them
at the-
on that
okay.
day. If we have a meeting that day, great, you approve them. If we don't, the next meeting, I'll have it on the agenda for you.
Okay, that works, thank you.
And you'll include the amounts. Amounts? The dollar amount of warrants. I'll have to check with the administrator and see if that's appropriate to do.
Well, it's not every line item, but
Not every item, no, but the total amount. We used to do that.
What do you say, boss?
I
Can
mean,
talk
it's,
about it.
yeah, we can talk
I
about
don't
it.
know. I don't know. I don't think it's not sure.
Okay, so,
We'll probably record it.
Can you make a motion for warrant number 8, please, that you signed last week?
oh, that's the one from, I was gonna say, well, I don't have a warrant, okay. Motion to, approve, Blanford warrant number 8 payables. Is there a second? That's the one we signed last week.
Second.
Any discussion?
No.
All in favor?
I,
Aye.
I'll look into that, Mary.
Okay, I've got a PVPC invoice to sign, but I'm not seeing it on my action. Is this a new one? This is for, the community assistance program for the 8,877.
I don't know what that is.
Okay, so this is for the completion of the housing rehab and septic replacement work, and I know that they had, I think they approved how many? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people in town where projects have at least been, they've gone in and taken a look at them. I don't think things have been actually completed yet, but they were approved for the grants.
They just require your signature. The check is there to pay for it. They just
Okay.
require your signature of the board on whatever page
Yep,
it's on. That's all it's there for.
The
okay,
one Stapleton was sent.
I'm sorry?
yes, it's right here. All right, so I make a motion to approve, I don't know, I guess I do need a motion to, they don't, do they need a motion or am I just signing?
Just signing.
Just sign. Okay.
Just signing
I was
it.
like, this
They
feels
just
like a
want to see
weird-
your signature on it.
Sorry, I feel a little scattered tonight.
It's all right.
For you.
I will mail it tomorrow.
Thank you very much. Do we have any other action items? No? Unfinished business?
Oh, we good.
Yep, it's coming up.
That
So that's.
is here. New business.
Okay.
6B.
All right, so I've got our, thank you, our expense report. You guys have a chance to take a look at that?
I didn't give you one. Did you, do you want one? You do?
No, I'm fine. Just don't worry about
So
it.
we're at, where are we? July, August, September.
I'll make sure. Sorry,
October.
Doris. I didn't think you were going to be here, actually. I thought you would leave after the hearing.
I know, that didn't work out.
You gotten one, the email I sent, did you see?
So we should be at about 38-ish%.
You're getting good at this, Karen.
I'm just sounding confident. Once again,
Well, I've done this
numbers.
before, but I didn't see
All right,
it.
we already talked IT, we
Sent it this morning.
already talked police. Fire department expenses, I think we talked about that. Fire department is at 47. I don't know if he's aware of that, or if we want to let Chief Mater know, but his expenses are at 47%. It's just about a bit over for this time. We were gonna follow up on the tree warden, because he's
Yeah,
at
I know he
81%.
followed up, but I don't know. He didn't talk to me about it.
Okay, so we just need to get that information from Josh then.
I'll look in the email to see if I can find.
Okay.
it.
It would be with Mark Boomsma, would be.
Okay.
He's on that list that I sent you. The address list.
Highway garage, you already know about the maintenance, Dave. And repair. Oh, the Board of Health stipend was at 44. I don't know if that's coming out in regular increments. Do you know about that, Jennifer?
Did they change? I know that at one point, I don't know which department does it, but they were taking the funds out of the wrong
Oh, okay,
And so they had to put it in, she was supposed to move it to the
Okay.
proper, we've had emails, I got an email that it was all set.
okay. It's at 44%, so it's really not that over, but just because it'll move fairly quickly.
Which Board of Health,
I'm talking about the stipend, and just because I know that that's like comes out in regular increments,
okay,
it would make sense that it was like exactly where it should be. You know what I mean?
okay, where should it be?
I guess,
5%.
no, I think a little, so July, this is how I fit, July, August, September would be at a quarter. And then, so it should be like 35-ish, I'm
Okay,
guessing.
then let me take a look at it, because last I knew it was right in line.
Okay. Thank you. It's not a lot of money. It's like a couple $100. And I think the other one for Board of Health is the building and maintenance is at 42%. So that one's slightly over too.
Okay,
Just an effort.
that'll level off, so.
Okay. And I think that's about it. So we start to get into water department. You guys see anything that stuck out to you? I got sticky notes everywhere, Joanne. Sorry, return to me, care for signature. All right. You guys good?
Yeah.
Okay. New business, we've got a draft scope of work from consultant to work with highway department with facilitating the implementation of the Mass Works grant.
That would be the one that says Seneca on the top.
Yeah.
I think.
Oh, that one there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you read it on there.
Oh, we're in Seneca back on, huh?
And at the bottom.
That's who's on here. You didn't reveal who you were. I was confused.
I was just listening.
All right, so this, we talked about this last week, about bringing you on, back on, Rainey, to consult, with Dave. For the MassWorks grant project. So it looks like, so, walk me through the, oh, so this is the bi-weekly. So this is week 1, week 2. Is that what we're looking at here? Let me share this so you can see what I'm talking about.
Kara, I can only tell you that I had supplied what Josh had asked me, but I haven't heard anything since. So basically what I did was give a very brief synopsis of the stages involved and the hours I anticipated that would be required on my part to assist in getting the town to complete, like the first phase would be, you have, I don't know the exact date, but you have somewhere up in January that you have to formulate a whole bunch more information and supply it to the state to get the actual contract for the grant.
Yeah.
Because right now all you have is a letter saying it's awarded, but you still have a lot more to do to actually get that contract completed by the state, so it's guaranteed. And then there's basically 3 phases of that contract, and they need to be, well, explained to the state, because you are not re-engineering or redesigning a road. You are basically doing a thorough repair using proven methods that have already been approved by Mass DOT. And all the methods in the contract, should it go out to bid, would have to state, you know, using approved DOT methods.
Okay. So this, the way that you've broken it down here, is this week 1, week 2, or these are just the separate, each one of these?
It's not necessarily, yeah, it's not necessarily week by week. It would be what would be workable with, of course, David Waldron, because there is some, well, you know, I guess the way to put it is I know what was in my mind when I walked through this and put this all together to put in the application for the grant. I did a lot of discussions with Mass DOT engineers, including, like, say, David Waldron permitting and all this, to understand what our possibilities were, what we could do, putting together, going to them, making sure that they approved of these methods, and the best to utilize the funding to get the majority of this biggest bang for our buck on this deal. That being said, David has been kind of thrown into a tough spot here, because even as Josh had said, I don't know how to fix this, Rainey. You figured this out. So this is something that I would need to walk through with him on site.
Okay.
Probably would take a couple times, so that we can put together the package for the state, so we can get our contract with the state, so you can be guaranteed the funds. Then you need to put this information together so that it could have a bid package to go out. But there's a lot of specifics that got to be in that bid package also.
Okay. I appreciate your willingness to step in, because I know you sort of left just at a time when you had, gotten this stuff all squared away. So it is really helpful. And I know it'll be helpful for Dave, because like you said, it was just something that it was
Very
just the
helpful.
timing.
Very helpful.
Do you need a motion for us to approve this? And then we'll figure out as far as budgeting.
Approve the proposal and then we'll go to council for a contract.
Okay, perfect. Okay. Question, Mary?
Well,
Oh,
What are we gonna fix?
this is working with the Mass grant, the $1 million grant we got for North Blanford Road. So
Oh,
Rainey's
okay.
coming back in as a consultant to help with the completion of, our next steps.
I think we're
Thank
calling
you.
him the clerk of the works.
Yes. Rainey, did you have?
But the last thing that Josh had told me was he had sent it to town council, because there would have to be a contract formulated for this, because I would be coming in as a consultant. So therefore, taxes and everything else would be my responsibility. So I think it's 1099 would have to be supplied at the end, and the whole 9 yards. But with all of that being said, I haven't really had a chance to speak to him since. So I don't know if it went to council. He had told me he was sending it to him. And as far as a vote, the only thing I understand would be is if there's a contract written, so long as both the town and myself are agreed on this, I guess then at that point would be a vote would be appropriate.
That makes sense. So then Wendy's gonna double check with town council and see if they received it yet. And then we'll start with working on a contract, and we'll have that on the agenda to vote for. And then we can get started.
And I would just like to add that I know Mary had said, like, if you had hired a consulting firm, it's normally like 10%. Well,
Mhm.
from the outmost of what I could figure, providing the town doesn't or come back and ask me for more, which I don't think you would need to at all. You're looking at about a 0.5%.
You're worth every penny, Rainey.
I'll buy you one.
Oh, thank you. But it would be nice if it was 10%, but no, it comes out.
Dave said he's gonna take fancy McDonald's on the east side.
No, but the total cost of the town would come out to be about a 0.5%.
Okay, thank you. All right, so we will get that on the agenda when we have the contract, and Wendy will let you know so you can join us so we can move forward with that. Thank you, Rainey.
Turn around.
All right, thank you.
All right, next up, I've got a quarterly report from the animal control officer. 3 calls answered, 3 calls completed, 1 chicken impounded.
You know what
Is that one
happened?
of yours?
It was not one of mine. There was a stray chicken. This needs to go in the minutes, Joanne.
Resident left the dog in emergency. Oh, okay. Need to pick up a stray chicken. I would have taken it. I hope that that chicken found a happy home.
Probably from somebody's fridge.
It's probably, so no.
Kara,
Yes,
for the
sorry.
record, for the Board of Health,
Yes,
we're gonna reach out to her and ask her for a more detailed report. It's much better than the first quarter was, you know, it's got a little more deep, but she's got a little ways to go.
okay, you gave me
So
more
I'm
detail.
going to give a sample
Perfect.
report for her, so when we get it, it's a little
Okay.
more detailed.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it. All right, does anyone, oh, I do have some new business. I've got a report from the Gateway. I don't know if I need to read through all this stuff from the superintendent.
I can pass it out for.
Yeah, if anyone wants to take a look at it, she talks about a COVID update. Her entry plan update. Some leadership teams, what else is going on? And then budget and advocacy. I know I went to a meeting, school committee meeting the week before last, and we're still stuck on the regional agreement. Montgomery and Russell are still stuck with the alternative assessment. So it doesn't look like it's moving anywhere anytime soon.
I'll give it to you.
Don't get me started. So
Put some excitement in my life.
we looked through the school committee had met with Montgomery and Russell prior to this meeting. And so they had some things that they wanted to get redacted from the regional contract, Montgomery and Russell, that is, for the rest of the town still can agree with. Most of them we were fine with, but the one that we all sort of put our foot down with was the alternate, removing the entire alternative assessment, because I think Jason Ford said it best, you know, knowing that it is such a good thing for all the towns.
Yeah.
And that it just doesn't feel right to remove it, you know, having the knowledge that all of the towns, the school committee all wants it there. The other 4 towns want it there. And it's also, unless all towns vote to accept it, it's not gonna go forward anyway.
Yeah.
So it just feels, to remove it entirely as an option just doesn't feel like the right
Yeah.
move going forward for all towns. So,
Yeah.
so we'll see what happens next with that. Is there any other new business, Wendy, that you have for us? Or
Well, this isn't a packet. It's time for us to update our hazardous mitigation plan. At least I had it. I don't know if you all have it. This is the current one.
okay,
And their last 5 years, and really need to have these in place. Good idea to do this planning anyway, but you need this in place for FEMA money and things like that.
okay, perfect. So,
PVPC is,
and you're a pro at this.
yes, but I, you know, I'm a FEMA employee. I have a conflict and I don't want my name on anything.
Okay.
You know, so, but I'm just gonna, you know, I don't think that's a problem. with the
Okay,
plan for it.
so you're gonna start us off.
Yeah,
Tell
I
us
already
what-
let me know that I'll fill out the
Okay,
plan. Joanne signed.
so that's something that you said is renewed every 3 years?
5 years.
5 years. I know that
And
we
it
did
takes time,
something.
and it
Yeah.
takes time to do, so ours, this expires, he told me, I think this December.
Okay. I think we had someone come in and do a presentation. We talked about Westfield State as an emergency place. Okay,
And now,
Wheels are
I
turning.
think this whole thing might be different, I don't know if
Okay.
they've changed it because of all the disasters
yes,
we've had and more and, you know, greater increase in flooding and stuff. So it
Okay.
might be a little different for like templates, whatever. from the
Okay.
plan.
is that the place where we would talk about moving this facility into a direction of being a
ESC.
yeah,
I don't know. Because there's multiple
okay,
disaster planning,
yeah,
you know, documents, so. Anyone here could speak to that, but, it may.
okay,
Yeah, it is, it's used here, the EOC, so yes,
okay,
one of the places, yes.
because that's definitely been something that we,
Yeah,
would
it's
love
funny
to
because I asked Josh, is this the AOC? And
Yeah.
It would be perfect.
yeah,
He said it's the school, but.
Yeah.
um, You might not be able to get to the school.
Yeah,
you know, The gateway, so.
it was Gateway, but then I thought that we also talked about Westfield State College being a place that we would use, but if we could, you know, there's a couple things we needed to do to get this up to standard, and of course, those are grant opportunities. I think for some reason, showers was something that we needed to do that we don't have here if we were, there's something with our generator.
I think you need certain things for disaster recovery centers where people might stay, but EOC is your operation.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah, we don't have auxiliary power.
Okay.
Yeah, I asked,
So-
so we don't have a generator for these buildings. and You've
We're
got to have
working
that
on it.
for.
Yeah,
We're working on it.
we have a small one, but I don't think it's enough.
Well, we're working on how much of the building we can power with that one that's out there. And it's gonna mean we gotta have some wiring done and whatever, but
Mhm.
if we could power the kitchen, at least one boiler, and some lights to that effect out there, we might be able to pull it off.
Yes. I think our kitchen probably needs some updating too. Okay, so you'll keep us,
Yeah, I'm gonna say we're,
okay,
you want to vote to pursue?
yes.
Okay.
So you need a motion for us, so a motion to pursue the hazard mitigation plan.
Yeah.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right. All right, I think that we're good. Ross, oh, go ahead, Doris.
All right, so what are we gonna do about the hearing?
I know we haven't heard back,
Right.
so I think that we are just gonna table it for now
Okay.
until they let us know. So I would make a motion to table the poll hearing until further notice. Is there a second
Second.
discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So they'll just have, I'm assuming they'll be in touch with Wendy and let her know, and she'll be in touch with you.
Or
if
we'll
it-
never hear from them again.
Or we never hear again. If it's a private way, then
They'll have to do-
you'll have to, yeah,
All
right, I'll get a hold of Joanne.
okay. Thank you. Russ, you joined us a little bit late. I'm sorry. We approved the, I'm talking to Russ up here. Russ is our vet in town. He owns the animal hospital.
Yeah.
We approved the final plan. And I don't know if you had a chance to take a look through it. It is all set. Ira talked about some possible grant funds to help get started on building the, I'm gonna get the abbreviation wrong. The Blanford Business Association, BBA, is that right?
Citizen Civic Association.
Oh, gosh, there's a C in there. So we talked about getting that started as one of our first projects. But if you have any questions or anything on the entire 94-page report.
Right. I got to look at some of it, so I don't, not enough to have an intelligent question.
Okay, that's fair. All right, so just reach out, Russ, if you have any questions, and we'll certainly be in touch with the next time that we're gonna be meeting as a whole group.
Okay, I have a question, but it's on a different topic when you're done.
I think we're all done, so
Okay.
go ahead.
It's the bit about Springfield Water Commission and fixing Russell Stage Road and that kind of thing. I read it in the paper, but it didn't give a whole lot of detail.
I don't know how those two are connected. We are fixing Russell Stage Road. I'm not
Okay.
sure how Springfield Water is connected with that, though.
Oh,
Were
it was
those
in the Country Journal.
must be true.
Do you want me to send you a copy? A pic, like a,
Sure. Mary says it wasn't a report that she wrote.
No, those are two different projects.
Yeah, there are two, so there's two different issues. One is with the Cobble Mountain Road, which we learned that we don't actually own. And there's been discussion about maintenance for that because going forward, the rest of the town, I'm sorry, the Springfield Water should be maintaining that and in the wintertime. And then the other thing is we just approved the bid for work on Russell Stage, but they're two separate.
Okay,
So I don't know if somehow.
so the part of having Heinz
Yeah,
are, that's more towards that's more towards the road, Cobble Mountain Road.
yeah.
And
Heinz, actually, that's a different discussion even. That was regarding the letter we received. I think we have it in the meeting minutes. We received a letter from, I don't have the minutes anymore, from the Springfield Water, and they were asking us if we wanted them to maintain some of the roads
In watershed.
in the watershed area, and we were holding off on answering because we were waiting. We had a conversation, Josh and I had a conversation with Senator Hines, and we were waiting to see if there was a possibility to apply for a joint grant with Springfield Water instead of maintaining these roads that are not necessarily used. We would like to use them for recreational purposes, so use some grant funding to turn them into hiking trails. So that's probably what you're thinking of. So we haven't responded as yet as far as yes, maintain these roads or no, please don't.
Right, okay. Were there, is any particular parts of the watershed that they're looking, that they want to maintain?
Yeah, there was a map that they sent us. Joanne has do you have a copy of it, Joanne? I know
It's
we've,
posted in the hallway, in the lobby.
it's
front
posted
lobby.
in the lobby. If
Is
you
it?
want to
Okay.
take a look at it, you can see, I know it was off of, and now I'm not gonna be able to think of the road. Was it off of Beach Hill? There was like an 11-mile loop that
Julius
looks like
Hall.
it would be up Julius Hard. It looked like it would be a really great hiking loop.
Okay,
And so that's sort of where we were directed.
And if we can get it done, it would be easier for us to access the cemeteries on the property.
what was that? I missed.
He was saying if we could do that, it'd be easy for us
Ye-
to access the cemeteries on the property.
Okay,
So,
okay, so nothing like on Blair Road or anything like that.
no, I don't think it was off of Blair Road. It was,
No.
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 Okay.
It was not.
There's some really great ruins up in there.
Yeah, I know. We need to hike, be able to hike out there and check it out. We'll have a hiking party.
Unbelievable cellar holes up there.
Yeah, Cobble Mountain Road too. Question,
I
Jennifer?
do have one question that I would have never thought of until it was brought up. So on Cobble Mountain, when winter comes,
Yes.
is there gonna be like a marker where the towns are gonna plow up to so that the residents will know that they're not gonna be plowed?
I don't have an answer for that yet. I know that there was a letter drafted. I don't know if it went out
A letter drafted to who?
to residents on that road who would be affected by the change in maintenance.
Okay, so we, even though don't live on Cobble Mountain, we're right off at the end where we
Mhm.
come right onto Cobble Mountain to go through instead of going all the way down Crooks Road, South Street, and then, you know, I mean, we'll be doing a big U-ey.
Mhm.
So we just need to know from what mile marker, from wherever you're gonna put and say that the town is no longer gonna plow. And if that
So-
will go out sooner than later, it would really be beneficial.
Dave, do you know more information about that? As far as like if it's gonna be marked off?
I have no idea. All I know is that when we used to plow it, we used to plow it to the very end.
Right.
And that could be on for now. We could keep on doing that if it has to be. We wouldn't stop it at the last house on Hubble Mountain. We would just keep on going, push it.
And just push it right into their gate.
Yeah, well, off the side of the gate.
Right, just tell them where you want it.
They want to go through. Okay, but will we know that sooner than later? That's, I guess that's the.
It's up to them, not me.
No, I don't think it's in, Mary. So I don't know. We were just talking about that before the
Josh.
meeting.
That's why I'm saying. maybe
There's
she-
some different feelings on it.
Unofficially, this is just my thought, you know, they're paying taxes. We should make the road accessible, all
Yes,
right, but depends on the state. You know,
I-
if they're gonna cooperate.
yeah, I agree with you, and I don't want any residents to not have access. I think the idea with this was that Blanford finally has a little teeny tiny leg to stand on. And so we can sort of say, okay, DCAM, you won't open the gate and you won't give us our road back. But you're telling us this is not our road and we've been putting money into maintaining it. Not only do we want our money back, we're gonna stop maintaining it. So I don't want that to negatively affect, I mean, I don't know how I can say that because it will negatively, affect the residents. I get that. Unless Springfield steps up, because the word has also been put out to Springfield that you need to start maintaining this.
So, I mean, coming through for medical emergency.
Exactly,
Our
yeah,
house would be affected big time,
yeah.
and they would all have to go again around.
So I guess the follow-up
a
question is,
fire, anything.
have we heard back from Springfield yet? And we need to reach out again and say, look, you're telling us you own this road, so you need to let us, let residents know that you're gonna be maintaining it. No, don't. Mary, question?
Can I get a copy of that letter, please?
If it's when it's sent out, it's
It
not,
hasn't gone out yet.
no,
Oh,
it
okay.
hasn't gone out.
Thank you.
No.
To residents.
To residents, no, and as far as I know, nothing's been sent out to residents.
Put that request to the records access officer.
No sneak previews, Mary.
So, Wendy, maybe if we can have a discussion with Josh, if you don't mind reaching out to Josh and just asking where that stands so that we can, figure out what our next step is. I don't want to by any means block roads or, so that, so you don't have, emergency access. But I would like to try to push with Springfield a little, just because it's like, we're like,
Yeah.
little teeny tiny bit of leverage. Yeah,
But not to the point where.
yes, yeah, I get you. I understand. That makes sense.
Springfield has a way of answering things by ignoring it.
Yes, they tend to ignore us and it's so
Yeah.
insulting. It's
Yeah.
really insulting. Okay. Anything else? And can I go home to bed? 7:35?
You may.
All right, meeting adjourned, 7:35.
7:35.
It's my bedtime. Bye, Russ. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
Bye.
Did you guys sign this?